Hello, Flosstube friends. I'm Nancy Joy Trower. I'm the stitcher with the laughing face, and this is my special series of 12 days of Christmas vacation. How can you tell it's Christmas vacation? No watch, no earrings, no makeup. So just a Saturday, just doing all the things, trying to get ready for Christmas, as I'm sure all of you are too. So I decided to do this video series because I had so much fun watching Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher and Nicole Spohr, a couple other people. Holly Jones didn't do one a day. She did a lot though, but then she went on vacation to New York. And if you follow her Instagram, you get to see, sorry, I just kicked my table. You get to see all the fun adventures she was having in New York City. But I thought it would be fun because I actually could do it over my Christmas vacation. So yesterday was the official start. Yesterday was December 20th. Today is the 21st. So happy winter solstice. Shortest day of the year, which means that from tomorrow coming on and going forward, we'll have more and more sunlight every day. Woohoo! That's a good thing here in Buffalo, New York. My OBGYN always jokes about the fact that everybody who lives in Buffalo should be taking 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D every day for life because we don't get enough sun here. And it actually makes a big difference. So anyway, here we are on day 2. So yesterday I shared a regular Flosstube pretty much with all the things I'd been stitching for the past couple weeks. I had a lot of haul. And my intentions for today were to get up and read, which I did, and bake, which I did, and then have an FFO marathon, which I did not do. Max is going to be home Monday, so I decided to throw some laundry in, get his sheets all washed with we use Arm & Hammer baking soda, laundry detergent, and it smells so good. So his room will be nice and fresh. I went through all the bags of gifts and goodies that I brought home from school and got everything kind of situated where it's going to live. I have a lot of candles that smell amazing. I won't have to pay for coffee for 3 months because I have gift cards to Tim Hortons and Starbucks and Orange Cat, which is a local coffee shop in the town where my school is, and it's quite good. Very, very good little shop. But it's a blessing. It's very sweet how generous the families are to us. And actually, that's what I used yesterday when I went shopping was some gift money for when I went to the stitching corner. I was like, woohoo, I'm going to the stitching corner. Actually, one of my colleagues was like, don't buy any more craft stuff. And I was like, that's where I'm going right now because that's how you start vacation. So I didn't get my FFO going, and maybe I was crazy to think that I could do any of that before Christmas actually happens. Tomorrow is going to be a very busy day too. I have church. I don't have anything for their stockings yet. So I have 4 kids that I have to get stuff for their stocking stuffers. And I didn't do the grocery shopping yet for Christmas Day, Christmas dinner, because we usually get a lot of fresh fruit and stuff, and I feel like if I buy it today, by the time Tuesday rolls around, it might not be great. So I'm going to hit Target and the grocery store on my way home from church tomorrow. And then when the Bills play the Patriots at 4:25, go Bills, I'm going to wrap. I'm going to do some decorating of cookies that, I can't do cutouts myself. I'm terrible at that. So I just picked them up from our grocery store. But I'm going to do some cutouts and some things like that I can sit and watch the game while I'm doing. So that's my plan for tomorrow. Maybe I'll get to my FFO marathon, I don't know, Thursday. We'll see. But I am going to work on getting more stuff finished, so I'll have more to FFO. So I'll show you that, and I'll show you what I've been stitching on in just a minute. Or maybe I'll start with the stitching. So if you want to stick around to see what I've been reading, what I've been baking, I know it's not a baking channel. I know that my photography is not the greatest, but I do have a whole bunch of really simple recipes that if you're looking for quick last minute gifty kind of things, because you can bag them up and that looks great, or if you got to take a plate someplace and you want something really quick, stick around. I got some good ideas for you. But I'm going to start with what I've been stitching. So I really just have the one that I've been working on. I've been working on Jolly and Mary, well, just Jolly so far, from Emily Call. I did finally get my Santa Clauses out today. That was one of the things I did. I also had to fix a garland that would not stay up. I had to re-Velcro the hook for it the 3M Velcros, I don't know how many times. So hopefully it stays. Cross your fingers. But I didn't have my Santa Claus collection out yet because we had to move some furniture around still in the dining room to go back into Max's room, which is kind of going to be our guest room. So, and the bookcase that where they were going to go had kind of been blocked. So I put out my Santas. Very happy for that. And I cannot wait to put these two little guys in with all my Santa collection. So this is how I did do a little work on Jolly last night. So I've got a little bit more of the border done. Got his little striped stockings going and the bit of the lettering. So I'm pretty much just need to finish in his coat. There's a little bit of snow on the ground here, the last little bit across the bottom, and his boots. And then he's good to go. So I am going to do that tonight. And then I'm going to start Mary so I can have them both together. And they're going to go in that awesome, awesome, awesome red velvet frame. And the cool thing is when I took this apart yesterday to show you guys, it's actually pretty deep on the inside of it. You know how sometimes you get a regular picture frame and you're not sure that it's going to fit in there with the extra thickness of having the stitching wrapped around the cardboard. This is plenty of room. So I may even have to put some cardboard in behind it so that it is flush up against the front. But that's awesome. That's a good thing to know. These were from Michael's. I don't know if they still have them there. Maybe they'll have them again next year. They did also have some that were rounded at the top with a bow that was super cute. So that's what I worked on last night. It's the only stitching I've been doing today because I've been doing some other things. So this morning I got up and I read. I finished book 73. Finished book 73. And started on 74. I am trying to hit 80. My husband didn't know who I was talking to. All right, so the book I finished this morning, and it was on my Kindle, so I'm going to pull up, I have a picture of the cover on my iPad to show you. So the book I read this morning is the latest in a series, and I have read a lot by this woman. Her name is Kathi Daley. Oops, there we go. Now we don't see the lights. So Kathi Daley, and she has a lot of different cozy mystery series. This one is called The Cottage on Gooseberry Bay, and the main character's name is Ainsley. And this is, oh gosh, which book is this? This is like book 15 or 16 in the series. A lot of her stuff does kind of go with holidays. The first one was a Halloween one, and there was Thanksgiving. So it kind of goes around through seasonally. The main character went to Gooseberry Bay because she was trying to find information about her past. She had found a picture of herself with her a smaller child she assumed perhaps was a sister in front of this big beautiful house, but she had no recollection of it herself. But she found the picture in with her father's things. Now her father was not actually her father. It was the man who raised her. So it took a couple books for her to discover the truth about her past, but she has this great group of friends and they work together to solve little mysteries in their town. So this one was called A Christmas Caper, and it had to do with, there was a apartment complex in their town that was being sold and everybody who lived there was being kicked out. They asked Ainsley, who is a private investigator, if she could try to talk to the owner and extend their leases because it was right before Christmas. And a whole mystery came up around that one. So I do recommend starting at the beginning with these so you get to know the characters very well. But this is only one of her many series. The first one that I found was about Zoe Zimmerman. Or maybe, no, sorry, Zimmerman's her married name. She has this thing, Kathi has this thing where it's like Zach and Zoe and Ainsley and Adam and Tess and Tony. So everybody's like their initials kind of line up. But Zoe owned an animal rescue called Zoe Zoo. And so that centered on her cute little town in the mountains and the fun little festivals that they would do. And she solved all these mysteries and she's got some friends. So that was the first one. And then the next series that I read was called The Inn at Holiday Bay. So this is actually the next one I'm going to read. Like it's on my list for this week of getting through. And they're short. They're usually only 160, 170. I don't know that maybe there's a few that's over 200. So if you're looking something that's a quick read, and they're cozy, so they're not too graphic, they're not too steamy, but you get to like the characters. So the inn at Holiday Bay is in Maine, and the main character is a writer, and she suffered a tragic loss in her life. So she moved to Maine, bought this big old building to turn it into a B&B and start her life over. And again, it's kind of her really good friends, this group of people that she's surrounded herself with that become family. They all lean on each other for, different times. There's people get married and they're having babies and, family friends and that kind of thing. So this is another great series. And then the Holiday Bay town was so popular, she started 2 other series that are spin-offs. So one is the Bistro at Holiday Bay, where the main character owns the town restaurant, and the other one is the bookstore. So those are really fun too. And then there's a couple other series, like she writes constantly. So I was happy. I liked Cottage on Gooseberry Bay. There's a lot of animal lovers in it. As you can see on the cover of this one, the woman Ainsley has the Burmese mountain dogs, Kay and Kylie, I think they are. Kai and Kylie, I think it is. In the Holiday Bay, she's got a dog and a cat, and her best friend has a giant dog. I think one of them is Rufus. Great name. But they get to be friends. The characters get to be friends. So after I finished the Christmas caper, I started the Christmas Tree Farm. Now I've been waiting for this one. This is the 3rd by Laurie Gilmore. The first one was the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And the second one was the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. So this is the new one. And then there's another one coming out that's a Strawberry Pancake House, I think it is. These are a little steamy, just a warning. On the steamy scale from like 1 to 5, I would say these are 3.5 to 4. Quicksilver being a 5, that there were times that I was like, oh my. But these are a little, they're kind of steamy. But they're fun. Same kind of thing where it's all one town. It's Dream Harbor. And so it's the friend, and like you get to know characters, and then, a book comes along. Like this one is, somebody new in town who buys the tree farm, and she is going to wind up with the brother of one of the characters from somebody, from one of the other books. So just started it this morning, but I was like, okay, I'm only going to read until 9. And then it was like, but I want to finish this chapter and one more chapter. So you know how it goes. It's like one more piece of floss, one more piece of floss, and then I'll be done for the day. You know how that goes. All right. So that's what I've been reading today. And then I did quite a lot of baking. So first I want to show you something awesome that I found, and I guess I'll go this way so then I can put pictures over here. So I was at Sam's Club last week and I found these mats, and they were only $10. Now I don't know that every Sam's Club would be carrying them. They actually had a couple of different styles of them, but they're supposed to be anti-fatigue mats. Now we have a problem in our kitchen. The person who put in the tile floor, not my husband, it was the previous owner, didn't do a spectacular job. And so a lot of the grout has come loose and the tiles have cracked. And particularly have cracked in the places where we do the most walking, in front of the dishwasher, in front of the counters. So I got 2 of the mats because that's also where I stand. Like it's in front of the counters where I'm standing when I'm baking. And they make a really big difference when you're standing there for a while. So I thought that was pretty cool. Sorry, I got the Flosstube itch. Happens to everybody, doesn't it? So these I thought were great. And if you are having the same kind, being on your back for too long in your kitchen, or being on your feet hurts your back when you're in the kitchen, I thought these were great. All right. So one other quick thing. If you're looking for a quick gift to give to somebody, I made several of these this week. It's actually the second time I've done this. I did it in 2020 because I couldn't bake for my colleagues. But I found this on a website. Hold on. I've got it pulled up. And I will put it below. LizOnCall.com is the website. I found it on Pinterest. and then I'll post the whole thing. But she's got a cute little post about it. So it's an orange, and I just used one of those cuties. About a cup of cranberries, fresh cranberries, a couple cinnamon sticks, and a tablespoon of cloves, whole cloves. And then you cut up the orange, toss the whole thing into a pot, cover it with water, and then put it on to simmer. Now, so I made this for a couple of friends. It's just in a treat bag. Although I will say this is one of the treat bags that had kind of like the hourglass shape to it, which kind of limited how big the orange could be. But if you just use a straight one, you can use whatever you want. I'm actually going to put mine. I have a fondue pot, not a pot, but it was like on the little stand where you put the candle underneath and then it's got the dish, because that won't be sitting on my stove using gas, kind of unattended. And the candle burns out, So, and it's all real food, so I can just toss the little fondue thing into the dishwasher. Little crock pots would work for it too. But it does smell spectacular when you fill the house with that smell. All right, so a couple quick baking hacks for you. So this is what I was up to today. The first cookie, and I didn't take pictures of all the components for this one. This is super awesome though. So I made this the other night. I have this really great recipe. I used to love those little magazines that you would pick up in the checkout aisle in the grocery store with all the recipes in them. And I have quite a collection of different ones from different seasons, but a lot of really good cookie ones for Christmas time. And one of my favorite recipes was a gingerbread cookie that you put a chocolate kiss on top. So I used to always make them from scratch. And then last year I was like, I've got a roll of Pillsbury gingerbread cookie dough, which is not easy to find. So I usually snatch it whenever I see it. Like if I see it in October, I'm going to snatch it and stick it in the freezer. It's a really good gingerbread recipe. It's pretty good. So last year, instead of making it from scratch, I just sliced that up. So a gingerbread roll from Pillsbury, slice it up, roll it in sugar. And then when you take it out of the oven, you put a dark chocolate kiss on it immediately, just like you would with those peanut butter blossoms. But the dark chocolate with the gingerbread is absolutely delicious. Super quick to do, really, really good. You'll get lots of compliments. So those are gingerbread kisses. So the first thing I made today was what we lovingly refer to as Christmas crack, because it is made at Christmas time and it's highly addicting. I think that the PC name of it is Saltine Toffey. So all you need are these couple of ingredients. You need saltines, and obviously I bought that box at Sam's Club because go big or go home. So saltines, brown sugar, cup of butter, chocolate chips, and then if you want to put something on the top. Now I make it at different times of the year, and you just change the sprinkles that you put on it, and you can change for whatever holidays coming up. Halloween ones, Thanksgiving looking ones, whatever. It's always a delicious treat. Now, one of the reasons I like this one in particular is that now that Max and his girlfriend Abby are vegan, when I can find something that I can switch to a vegan recipe that he loves, it makes me really happy that I can still bake for him. This is really easy to do because all you have to switch out is vegan butter and chocolate chips that are vegan. Now, thankfully, I found at one of our local grocery stores that their Wegmans is, if you don't have a Wegmans near you, find one. They're amazing. Really great grocery stores. Their brand is what Max refers to as accidentally vegan. It doesn't say it on the bag, but instead of milk product, they use sunflower oil. So, and the nice thing was this year they came out with a big bag of chocolate too. So I can make a batch for Max and Abby, and instead of putting peppermint on top of theirs, I'm going to put sprinkles so they can tell the difference and not accidentally grab the wrong kind. But it works up just as good. It's really good. So the first thing you're going to do is take a jelly roll pan, put foil in the bottom, and line the bottom of it with saltines. You need like one sleeve of saltines and like 5. It's going to just be one. But you just need a few from the next sleeve. And I do have to break the last row in half in order you want to fill the whole pan. So lay the whole thing in. And meanwhile on the stove, you can be starting to boil a cup of butter and a cup of brown sugar. When that boils together, let it boil for like a minute or so. nice and frothy, and then you want to pour it over the saltines. And I always start in the corners, like the edges, and go around, because you want to make sure the edges get covered really well, and then go up the middle and then spread it so it's spread nicely across everything. Then you're going to put it in a 350 oven for about 15 minutes. Now, when I do the vegan, I only put it in for 10. There's something about the vegan butter, I feel like it's going to burn faster, so I just put it in for 10 minutes. When that timer goes off, you're going to take it out of the oven, and you're going to dump chocolate chips all over the top. Now, I've seen the recipe before that says a bag of chocolate chip or a cup of chocolate chips. No, you want the whole small bag. I use big bags of chocolate chips because I get them at Sam's, and then I just cover the whole thing. Now, you can see in this picture, hopefully you can see in this picture, that when you first put the chocolate on, it has kind of that dusty coating to it, and it's really dark. You'll know it's ready to spread when the color has changed to that warm brown, like hot cocoa color almost. Then you're just going to spread it so it covers nicely, and then sprinkle on top whatever you want. Now, at Christmas time, I put crushed candy cane because that adds a little bit more festiveness to it. But Christmas sprinkles are lovely too. These candy cane were actually purchased at our Wegmans. They had in bulk, they had already crushed candy cane, which works well for this, but it doesn't work quite as well for the next cookie. So that is Christmas crack. That's how we do that. The next cookie is kind of my own invention out of the necessity a couple of years ago that I was supposed to take a certain number of cookies to some bake sale, and I didn't have enough. I was home alone with the boys. They were super little. They were asleep. It's not like I could go to the store. So I was like, wonder how this will work. And I grabbed a roll of sugar cookie dough and some crushed candy cane, and Peppermintys was born. This is so easy. It is basically sugar cookie dough and crushed candy cane. And I even will use the already pre-broken, like the bits. Like, you know, you can get the roll, but if you can get it where they're already broken into the 24, it just saves another step. So you're doing it quicker. You know, watch them for sales. I actually found these in 2 packs a while ago, threw those in the freezer, brought them out the other day, so we're good to go. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to crush the candy cane. So just unwrap all the candy canes. I do about a dozen candy canes for 24 cookies. That's about a good ratio. I put them in a big Ziploc baggie, and I smash the heck out of them. I was thinking Smashing Candy Canes would be a great name for a band if you did like Christmas covers. That would be very fun. Smash all the candy canes and then put them in a bowl. And then you're going to roll the sugar cookies into the candy cane and then put it on. I always use parchment on my cookie sheets because I only have 2 cookie sheets, so I can slide the parchment off with the cooked or the baked cookies, slide a new piece of parchment on, and I don't have to wait in between batch. You know, I can just keep going really quickly when I'm doing cookies. I love parchment. And you don't have to clean off the pan. So that's great too. Now, the reason I don't think I did do the peppermint, I used the crushed candy cane from Wegmans when I was making cookies for the cookie walk a couple weeks ago, and they came out okay and they still tasted all right. But I really think that part of the yumminess of this and why it works so well is the powder that you get when you're crushing the candy cane yourself. There's a lot of like candy cane dust in there that the cookies are really wrapped up into. So put them in for it. Whatever the package says is like 10 minutes, I think. I usually bake 2 at a time. So it takes me a little, and I think my oven is actually on its last legs. Ooh, I don't want that to happen. But I do feel like my oven is taking longer to bake the cookies than it used to. So keep an eye on it. You want the edges to be nice and brown. And they will look really puffy when you first take them out of the oven. But then as they cool, they will get thinner into like a nice crisp cookie. And the way that the peppermint melts into the sugar cookies is really quite delightful. So another quick, easy, very giftable, very take someplace cookie that you can totally use to, you know, fill out a platter because they're so quick to make. The next thing I made was peppermint bark, more smashed candy canes. And the only 2 ingredients for this is white chocolate and candy canes. So melt the white chocolate, and I have a big mixing measuring cup. It's like a quart or something. And I like that because it's got the handle on it so that I can hold the handle while I'm stirring. So you only want to melt white chocolate chips in about 30 seconds at a time. Otherwise, you could burn it and then you're out. And there's really no coming back from having burned white chocolate or burned chocolate for that matter. It just doesn't, you can't really salvage it. So you want to melt it 30 seconds at a time. When you have your bag of smashed candy cane, you want to take some sort of sifter or sieve or something that you have where you can dump into the melted white chocolate just that powder. You want all that dust in first. And then you're going to mix it together so that you've got it evenly throughout the white chocolate. Then you're going to spread the white chocolate on parchment on top of a pan. And then you're going to take the rest of the candy cane that's all broken up and spread it over the top. Lightly press it in so it sticks in really well. Stick it in the fridge. Oh yeah, the crack has to go in the fridge too. And then you just break it apart after it's been, after it's re-solidified enough, then you just break it up. And you don't even really have to store either of those in the refrigerator unless you live someplace super, super hot where it might melt on its own. But I just leave them in tins or Tupperware, and they're fine. So peppermint bark, big family favorite. Also looks great in a little gifty bag, ready to be gifted to somebody. Then I made peppermint fudge. So I think you see a theme going on here. So the peppermint fudge is corn syrup, whipped cream, or whipping cream, candy cane pieces, and I use the pre-crushed ones for this, chocolate chips, and a little bit of vanilla. So for this one, you want to start with, it's a half a cup of corn syrup and half a cup of whipping cream. I'm going to put it on here so you know how much it is. You're going to put those together in the pot and boil them together. Let it boil for about a minute. Then you're going to dump in 3 cups of chocolate chips and stir constantly until everything is melted. Then you're going to dump in, it's a cup and a half of powdered sugar, a teaspoon and a half of vanilla, and a cup of crushed candy cane. And then you're going to mix everything all together so that you really can't see, you know, like everything's incorporated really well. Then you're going to pour it into a foil-lined 8x8 pan, or 9, I think this one is technically 9x9. It's a Pampered Chef, so it's really heavy when all that fudge is in there. So you're going to pour that in, spread it across the pan evenly, and then you're going to take another 1/4 cup of crushed candy cane and sprinkle that over the top. And then that goes in the fridge too. Now that one, I will say, when you're ready to cut it, take it out, let it sit on the counter for a few minutes, because I think I actually broke a knife trying to cut through some of the peppermint that had been in the fridge. I do love this fudge though, because it's not so incredibly sweet that you feel like it's overly sweet. It's a nice blending of those flavors. Okay, so ginger. Let me think for a second if I got them all. So there was one more thing. I did peppermint brownies. This I got the idea from at the cookie walk. Somebody else brought them in and I was like, that's really easy and it looks delicious. So I just took a brownie mix, and I put in a teaspoon of peppermint extract into the brownie batter itself, baked it as it instructed on the box, and then just used some of the crushed candy cane on the top, and those are going to be delicious. So that was all my baking for the day. And honestly, it took me from about 9 until noon, which is about the time that I wanted to spend on it. I still have a ton of other things that I want to make, so I'm going to do some more tomorrow. But it is almost dinner time now, after doing laundry, cleaning up, fixing the garland, putting out the Santas, making my list for Christmas dinner. Here we are. So I'm going to add all the pictures in so you can see what I was doing. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the night stitching, maybe watching some Hallmark. We'll see how that goes. But before we go, I do have day 2 of my wonderful 12 Days of Christmas stitchy gift from Jessica at the Stitching Corner. I love her title, Chief Stitching Officer. I think that's awesome. So let's see. Here is the wonderful bag. Yesterday it was some floss from Simply Shaker. Really pretty colors. So let's see. And she did such a cute job. These are all in envelopes, and she's got like a cute little tag for each of them. So let's see what's in day 2. I'm excited. Ooh. Oh, it's a little pattern. Oh, how cute. This is Berries and Pins, a perforated pinkeep. That is so adorable. And then there's the perforation and all the floss in there. That's very cute. Berries and Pins. I like that. So that was day 2. Thank you again to Jessica for her very generous gift of the 12 days of Christmas stitching. So I look forward to seeing what's in the bag for tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow, church, shopping, wrapping, more cookie decorating, more reading in the morning, and hopefully some stitching in the afternoon. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Hopefully it's been snowing here pretty much all day, so that's part of the reason why I just stayed home and stayed cozy. So I hope you're doing the same and getting some stitching done, or whatever it is that brings you the festive feeling at this time of the year and makes you merry. And even if it's just hanging out with all your stitchy friends on Flosstube. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.